thought I better just get going, and hopefully everything is going to run smoothly this morning as I worked on everything last night. And I think it'll be okay today. We'll see how it goes. Um, I'm just ready like it would be morning here, and today will be my first day to get a cup of coffee, so I'm excited about that. When I say coffee, I never mean coffee, as you know. I mean espresso. And so we are continuing in Leviticus in chapter 15 and 16 today. And we're going to continue to talk about the uncleanness and the importance of that. And so we'll ask the Lord to open thou mine eyes that I may behold wondrous things out of thy law. And we'll read Leviticus 15 and 16. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When any man hath a running issue out of it his flesh, because of his issue he is unclean. And this shall be his uncleanness and his issue, whether his flesh run his issue or his flesh he be stopped from this issue, it is his uncleanness. Every bed whereon he lieth that hath the issue is unclean, and everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean. And whatsoever toucheth his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even. And he that sitteth on anything whereon he sat that hath the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even. And he that toucheth the flesh of him that hath the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even. And he that hath the issue spit upon him that is clean, then he shall wash his clothes, bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. And what saddle soever he rideth upon that hath the issue shall be unclean, and whosoever toucheth anything that was under him shall be unclean until the even. And he that beareth any of those things shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even. And whomsoever toucheth that hath the issue, and hath not rinsed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. And the vessel of earth that he toucheth, which hath the issue, shall be broken, and every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water. And when he hath issue cleansed of his issue, then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in running water, and shall be clean. And on the 8th day he shall take two of him turtle doves, 2 young pigeons, and come before the Lord unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and give them unto the priest. And the priest shall offer them, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Lord for his issue. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the even. Every garment, every skin, whereas the seed of copulation shall be washed with water, and be unclean until the even. The woman also with whom shall lie with the seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the even. And if a woman have an issue, and her issue is flesh be blood, she be put apart 7 days, and whosoever toucheth her unclean until the even. And everything that she lieth upon her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes, bathe himself in water, be unclean until the even. And whosoever touches anything she sat upon, wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. And if it be on her bed, or anything whereon she sitteth, when she toucheth it, shall be unclean until the even. And if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days. And all the bed thereon he lieth shall be unclean. And if a woman have an issue of her blood many days, out of the time of her separation, or run beyond the time of her separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as the days of her separation shall be unclean. Every bed whereon she lieth all the days of her issue shall be unto her as the bed of her separation. Whatsoever she sitteth upon shall be unclean, as the uncleanness of her separation. And whatsoever toucheth those things shall be unclean, shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. But if she cleansed of her issue, she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. And on the 8th day she shall take her unto her 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, and bring them unto the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her before the Lord for the issue of her uncleanness. Thus shall ye separate the children of Israel from the uncleanness, that they die not in the uncleanness when they defile my tabernacle that is among them. That is the law of him that hath an issue, and of him whose seed goeth from him, and is defiled therewith, and of her that is sick of her flowers, and of him that hath an issue of the man, and of a woman, and of him that lieth with her that is unclean. So we see that observing the Day of Atonement each year was Israel's most significant act of worship. And on that day, the nation gathered to watch expectantly as the high priest enters the most holy place with the blood of the atonement to cover the sins of the nation for the previous year. And because blood was the central ingredient in Israel's nation and personal forgiveness, God prohibited its use for any purpose except sacrifice to Him. It is the blood that maketh atonement for the soul. Chapter 16. And the Lord spake unto Moses after the death of the 2 sons of Aaron, and when they offered before the Lord and died. And the Lord said unto Moses, Speak unto Aaron thy brother, that he come not at all times into the holy place within the veil before the mercy seat, which is upon the ark, that he die not. For I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat. Thus shall Aaron come into the holy place with a young bullock for a sin offering, and a ram of a burnt offering. He shall put on the holy linen coat, and he shall have the linen breeches upon his flesh, and he shall be girded with a linen girdle, and with a linen mitre shall he be attired. These are the holy garments. Therefore shall he wash his flesh in water, and so put them on. And he shall take on the congregation of the children of Israel 2 kids of the goats for a sin offering, and 1 ram for a burnt offering. And Aaron shall offer his bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make an atonement for himself and for his house. And he shall take the 2 goats and present them before the Lord at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron shall cast lots upon the 2 goats, 1 lot for the Lord, one and the other lot for the scapegoat. And Aaron shall bring the goat upon which the Lord lot fell, and offer him for a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Lord to make an atonement with him, and to let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. And Aaron shall bring the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and shall make an atonement for himself and for his house, and shall kill the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself. And he shall take a censer full of burning coals of fire from off the altar before the Lord, and his hands full of sweet incense beaten small, and bring it within the veil. And he shall put the incense upon the fire before the Lord, that the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat that is upon the testimony, that he die not. And he shall take of the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it with his finger upon the mercy seat eastward, and before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle of the blood with his finger 7 times. Then shall he kill the goat of the sin offering that is for the people, and bring his blood within the veil, and do that with the blood as he did with the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it upon the mercy seat and before the mercy seat. And he shall make an atonement for the holy place because of the uncleanness of the children of Israel, and because of their transgression and all their sins, so shall he do for the tabernacle of the congregation that remaineth among them in the midst of the uncleanness. And there shall be no man in the tabernacle of the congregation when he goeth in to make an atonement in the holy place, until he come out and have made an atonement for himself and for his household and for all the congregation of Israel. And he shall go out unto the altar that is before the Lord, and make an atonement for it, and shall take the blood of the bullock and for the blood of the goat, and put it upon the horns of the altar round about. And he shall sprinkle the blood upon it with his finger 7 times, and cleanse it, and hallow it from the uncleanness of the children of Israel. And when he hath made an end of reconciling the holy place and the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, he shall bring the live goat. And Aaron shall lay both his hands upon the head of the live goat, and confess over them all the iniquities of the children of Israel, and all their transgressions and all their sins, putting them upon the head of the goat, and shall send him away by hand of a fit man in the wilderness. And the goat shall bear upon him all the iniquities into a land not inhabited, and he shall let go the goat in the wilderness. And Aaron shall come into the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall put off the linen garments which he put on when he went in the holy place, and shall leave them there. And he shall wash his flesh with water in the holy place, and put off his garments, and come forth, offer his burnt offering, and the burnt offering of the people, and make an atonement for himself and for the people. And the fat of the sin offering shall be on the burnt on the off upon the altar, and he that let go to the goat for the scapegoat shall wash his clothes, bathe his flesh in water, and afterward come into the camp. And the bullock for the sin offering and the goat for the sin offering, whose blood was brought to make atonement in the holy place, shall one carry forth without the camp. They shall burn in the fire their skins, and their flesh and their dung. And he that burneth them shall wash his clothes, bathe his flesh in water, and afterward he shall come into the camp. And this shall be a statute forever unto you, that in the 7th month, on your 10th day of the month, ye shall afflict your souls, and do not work at all, whether it be of one of your own country, or stranger that sojourneth among you. For on the day shall the priest make an atonement for you, to cleanse you, that ye may be clean from all your sins before the Lord. It shall be a Sabbath of rest unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls by a statute forever. And the priest whom ye shall anoint, and whom ye shall consecrate to minister in the priest's office in his father's stead, shall make the atonement, and shall put on the linen clothes, even the holy garments. And he shall make the atonement for the holy sanctuary, and he shall make an atonement for the tabernacle of the congregation, for the altar, and he shall make an atonement for the priests and for all the people of the congregation. And this shall be an everlasting statute unto you, to make an atonement for the children of Israel for all their sins once a year, as he did, as the Lord commanded Moses. So, in reading about the uncleanness of things that touch people with an issue, a disease, it is hard not to think about God's provision in protecting them from germs and diseases. The words atonement refers to make a reconciliation between enemies. Sin makes us enemies with God, and Christ's offering reconciles us and makes us once again at one with Christ. The term scapegoat that we use today from this Bible passage, we use it to mean someone who bears the burden of somebody else's mistake. And here the scapegoat carries the sin out of the camp. Even the one who releases the scapegoat had to wash his clothes and bathe. Sin is catchy by the touch. In chapter 16, verse 29, it begins to describe the Day of Atonement and how often was the high priest to make an atonement for the sins of the children of Israel, and that is once a year. So, have you ever had to live with this gnawing uncertainty, a reoccurring illness, an overdue bill, a threat of illegal action? The emotions of facing a situation like those are intensely painful. In Old Testament times, the emotions that charged the air on every day of atonement must have been intense, as the high priest cautiously enters the most holy place to make atonement for the sins of the nation. One question was uppermost in everyone's mind: would God pass over their sins for another year? And the awful reality of the Day of Atonement was this: people were never fully cleansed of their sins. They were only temporarily covered and sent away on the head of the scapegoat. The debt of sin remained unpaid, like a promissory note deferred from year to year. Aren't you glad that Jesus Christ ended that uncertainty for all time? By his death, the long-standing debt of sin was paid in full, Colossians 2:14. And when you have paid your bills this month, remind yourself, and maybe another person, that Jesus has paid your debt. God paid it all in full. The wonder of the cross is not the blood, but of whose blood it was. So let's continue on in Proverbs chapter 14. Proverbs chapter 14. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. He that walketh in his uprightness feareth the Lord, but he that is perverse in his way despiseth him. In the mouth of a foolish is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise shall preserve them. Where no oxen are, the crib is clean, but much increases by the strength of the ox. A faithful witness will not lie, but a false witness will utter lies. A scorner seeketh wisdom, and findeth it not, but knowledge is easy unto them that understandeth. Go from the presence of a foolish man, when thou perceivest not in him the lips of knowledge. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. Fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor. The heart knoweth his own bitterness, and a stranger doth not intermeddle with his joy. The house of the wicked shall be overthrown, but the tabernacle of the upright shall flourish. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Even in laughter the heart is sorrowful, and the end of that mirth is heaviness. The backslider in the heart shall be filled with his own ways, and a good man shall be satisfied from himself. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but the fool rageth and is confident. He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. The evil bow before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor is hated even of his own neighbor, but the rich hath many friends. He that despiseth his neighbor sinneth, but he that hath mercy on the poor, happy is he. Do they not err that devise evil, but mercy and truth shall be to them that devise good. In all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury. The crown of the wise is their riches, but the foolishness of fools is folly. A true witness delivereth souls, but a deceitful witness speaketh lies. In the fear of the Lord is a strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. And the multitude of people is the king's honor, but in want of people is the destruction of the prince. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. A sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of the bones. He that oppresseth the poor reproacheth his maker, but he that honoureth him hath mercy on the poor. The wicked is driven away in the wickedness, but the righteous hath hope in his death. Wisdom resteth in his heart of him that hath understanding, but that which is in the midst of fools is made known. Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. The king's favor is toward a wise servant, but his wrath is against him that causeth him shame. Good morning, and welcome to Grow as we're reading God's Word together. We are now going to read Psalm 76. Psalm 76. This psalm is a song, or you could consider it a song, a psalm or a song of Asaph. In Judah is God known. His name is great in Israel. And Salem also is his tabernacle and his dwelling place in Zion. There brake he the arrow of the bow, the shield and the sword in the battle of Selah. Thou art more glorious and excellent than the mountains of prey. The stout-hearted are spoiled, they have slept their sleep. And none of the men might have found their hands. And at the rebuke, O God of Jacob, both the chariot and horse are cast into a dead sleep. Thou, even thou art to be feared, who may stand in the sight when once thou art angry. Thou didst cause judgment to be heard from heaven. The earth feared and was still. When God arose to judgment to save all the meek of the earth, Selah. Surely the wrath of men shall praise thee. The remainder of wrath shall thou restrain. Vow and pay unto the Lord your God. Let all that be around about him bring presents unto him that ought to be feared. He shall cut off the spirit of princes. He is terrible of the kings of the earth. So, and verse 5, so chapter 76, verse 5, is a prime example of God's ability to plunder enemies. Perhaps the example that inspired this psalm was because he had plundered their enemies and helped them through another battle. And thank the Lord for that. He can fight the battles for us. And so I pray that you have a blessed Monday and a great start to the beginning of your week. And I know that God has something for us each day. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue to grow.